Good day, everybody. Welcome to The Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament 2019/2020. This is a round of 32 match, game 2 between Jim and Zelgadissan. Zelgadis took game 1. Jim has chosen to make this a standard seed. I'm Mercer. I'm joined today by Spyweaver on comms. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. Looking forward to what promises to be quite a good matchup between these two. We're at the round of 32 here. At this point, you can basically throw any seeding you might see on our brackets out the window because everyone at this point has a chance to win this tournament.
Yeah, this is an exceptionally good matchup for this round, even with this bracket standards. Zelgadis is somebody who could certainly win the tournament. Jim was the #1 overall seed coming out of groups, so it's a good match. By the seeding, it's a bit of an upset that Zelgadis took game 1, but really with how much variance Randomizer throws at you, either one of them could easily take the match. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jim come back. I wouldn't be surprised to see Zelgadis take the match here. Worth mentioning, this is game 2. If Jim wins, game 3 will immediately follow this game on this channel.
Yep, and for this matchup, we do have your typical 7 of 7, 7 crystals to access Gan's tower, 7 crystals to attack him and make him vulnerable. But the mode change was for a standard here today. Uncle right away letting us know that red mail is for cowards, apparently.
He's left a fire rod behind. That would have helped with you not dying right away, dude.
It probably would have been a little better if he would have taken that one with him at least.
Yeah, this being standard, though, they're still guaranteed to actually get a weapon off Uncle, so that's an extra nice start.
Especially with it being the fire rod, one of the more powerful weapons in the game.
But a vanilla sword right away. Worth noting, since they didn't get the fire rod off of Uncle, they didn't get the free magic refill. They'll be able to grab a couple small pots here, but not enough magic to go all the way through Escape.
Yeah, enough for a few shots, and even though we did get the sword from Uncle, I do promise this is random.
Yeah, there's like 7 or 8 items Uncle can have. I forget the exact count, but fire rod is actually one of them, and obviously he wasn't going to have that.
It's almost been a little more interesting to see a 10-pack of bombs here today. Let's see these runners deal with that through the escape sequence.
Most runners in this tournament would choose bombs if they could get it, just so you wouldn't have to worry about it for the back of Escape to get the 3 chests back there. Of course, that could also happen, and you just get 3 bombs out of the chest and still have 2 real weapons.
Yeah, ask and you shall receive, I guess. Next chest looks to be just a piece of heart for us today as we continue down this escape sequence rescuing Princess Zelda. This is essentially what you would see if you played the game vanilla, except the only difference would be the item randomization at this point so far.
Well, and also the minute of forced text boxes that they don't have to deal with.
This is true. A good quality of life upgrade. Of course, the fire rod paying early dividends. It's a nice one shot on the guard there. Of course, while we are going through the escape sequence here, since there's not too much to be seen or deviants yet, please be sure to check these runners out on their own Twitch pages. Give them a follow. I definitely appreciate all the support. Have you dropping by whenever they're either practicing or doing some seeds other than tournament matches. So they're fixing to put on what I would believe is going to be quite a good race for us today. So always go ahead and show them your love over on their Twitch channels.
And Zelgadis has opened up about a 2-second lead heading into the sewers. This being a standard seed, you're given a light cone through these rooms. Even if you have to come back to get to back of escape later, you'll still have a light cone down here without Zelda, so she is not actually holding the lamp for you.
Dark Cross holding 20 rupees for us today. Continue on. Definitely not going to complain about a little bit of an early cash stack to try to build up towards those first 700 or so rupees that we need for the entire game. Down there, so we should have one more item here in the back of Sanctuary.
Yeah, the bottom wall, they're not really hiding much, but the rupees are nice for bottle vendor early.
Definitely not something you'll complain about this early in the seed. If it was a little bit later, maybe, because they're at that point junk items. And oh boy! Well, I guess we're not going to have a rod hunt on our hands today. That's the ice rod in the back of this, on the back of Sanctuary.
Yeah, the joke being that probably means that we just have a pendant TR anyway. And all crystals in the light world makes that a lot more likely, with the 5-6 at desert, but the other two being normal crystals.
Yep, the chances are looking even better for that. Sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be really, really nasty, given them that odd situation of whether or not you dive into a pendant TR. Tree Pole giving us some 20 rupee drops too. And the 50 just hanging out in the middle of the forest.
Yeah, but the Moon Pearl is nice. That means one less item we have to hunt. Still several items away from Dark World access, but we haven't seen that many chests.
And dropping down now into Blind's Hut. Starting the general Kakariko route, going from about top to bottom, especially when you have bombs. It's just easier to route it in this way. More 20 drops and a little bit more for bomb.
Yeah, that was almost worse than a vanilla Blind's hideout.
Yeah, I would definitely say it probably was. Let's see if the well is any better for us than Blind's Hut. Oh, that's starting out too promising.
Just takes one item. Blue mail's already better than anything we got in Blind's hideout. And a Master Sword already. So now we're just a lamp away from Dark World access.
Nice to see an early sword upgrade, but at the same time, okay, that's a little bit better. Getting our first glove right there. Towards the back of the bar, giving us a few more rupees as well. Just robbing their safe on our way on by.
So just gloves and Master Sword and Kakariko proper, really.
Pizza Hut sitting on top. Interesting to see if our runners decide to dive the race game or not here with the lack of items Kakariko so bad.
Split decision, Gem going for it. Zelgadis dropping down. It's just a piece of heart, however.
Nothing wrong with doing it either way. And you'll see quite a few runners doing it the way Gem does. When you don't get too much for items in Kakariko proper, usually they'll see some just go ahead and blind dive the race game just with the assumption that there might be something there that you want. Playing the good old odds game.
Both runners heading to the dam. We'll see if they both go towards Mini Boulder Cave or if one of them doesn't.
So a full heart inside, 20 rupees outside. Zelda's going to choose to pick those up. Still working towards that break point for cash for everything you really need to unlock for it. And Bush Crab being nice and giving us a refill on some bombs.
Yeah, Zelgadis just going to need Gem also grabbing that 20. If they see 100 here, they can fake flip her over to Zora.
Bombs, arrows, another 20s, some more bombs, and there's a mirror.
Well, there's access to Tower of Hera. It's out of logic without the lamp, but that's not actually going to stop anybody.
Definitely not at this point in the tournament. It's out of seed logic, but it's definitely within tournament logic. I definitely have to agree with the chat, especially at this point in the tournament. A lamp is merely a suggestion, especially when you have that fire rod.
Yeah, it looks like Zelgadis is probably going to farm up the last bit of rupees out of this cave here, and then do Zora. Gem doing the same.
So far, still just following each other's footsteps. Seconds behind the other. Something you'll definitely see, as we were saying earlier, when you get two very equally matched racers here.
And Zelgadis believing in the power of prize packs to get them there.
Interesting swim tech there by Zelgadissan. It's probably about the first time I've ever seen that one. Look at the hobo, and it is there's our big 20 today.
Yeah, I think he's going to be okay with that. Means he doesn't have to start killing enemies for the last 9 rupees there.
The way the seed was going, I was probably hoping on something like that to happen to us here. On his way up, either grab that 20 drop from one of the chests or the hobo, or as I said, grab it from a prize pack. Gem, however, give us our first look in the waterfall fairy, not a whole bunch there. There's a piece of heart as well on Zora's lead. Warp tunnel, warp whirlpool, I should say, not playing too nice over on Zelda's side.
So Flipper's checks end up as a waste of time. Zora gives at least 50% or 20% of our money back.
If Zora's running a credit card company, I can definitely tell you that's one credit card I'd want. 20% cash back bonus today.
Yeah, but you didn't buy anything. That seems like a terrible credit card company.
I still got 20% back for giving money. Let's just say it's a better scam than giving us some soggy arrows.
So Jim heading over at least towards Sahasrara's closet. We'll see if he proceeds into Eastern. Probably depends a lot on what's in here. Zelgadissan is going somewhere else, so divergence. Up the mountain, I assume. Ooh, but there's the hammer. There's our Dark World access.
Yep, right after that, Jem's gonna save and quit. See, that's about half the dagger in Ego 1 right there. No one has checked Lumberjack yet, so there could potentially still be something up there. The chances are probably pretty slim it's going to be something we need.
Hey, a pendant TR. What a shock. Swamp and Skullwoods are our other two, with Skullwoods being green.
It looks like Pod is our other 5-6 for the day. Starting off for Gem in the cave, formerly known as Hype. We got 20 rupees, 10 arrows. Oh, a third sword there, the single arrow, and 10 more arrows.
So 21 arrows, tempered sword, and 20 rupees. Tempered sword's at least something.
Definitely. Both of our runners probably should be getting it, but especially when you're making that jump from master to tempered, you're never going to really scoff at that one. It's always welcome. Zelda picking up the first bottle of the seed up there on top of Spectacle Rock. Gem checking out another mirror check, but only 20 rupees over there. All this early access to fire items, and we don't even have a fire lock carrot today. great beetle room there on Zelda's side. Getting a spin off of the double kill and knocking the other one down the hole. Jim heading into the dig game between 1 and 30 strikes of the earth for our item. This should be about 15 just for 10 arrows.
Zelda getting the other items. So no Hera basement today, but nothing all that useful in there. Full heart container and 10 arrows.
Potentially more importantly, Zelda's going on to Moldorm here. We're going to get the first crystal of our seed today.
Yeah, but that's going to stop his Death Mountain trip. He doesn't have hammer or hookshot to get over to the east side. Gonna have to go get that hammer out of Sahasrar's closet. That's going to allow Jim to potentially make fewer Death Mountain climbs over the course of the seed.
That routing will work a little bit better there for Jim. I believe it's about minute 30 or 2 minutes, give or take, every climb up the mountain. We'll see if that comes into play here later on. And there are Titan's mitts over there on Gem's side in our chest game today.
That's kind of close to their vanilla location in Thieves Town.
Yeah, not quite French vanilla, but close. Take him out of the location. Let's just move him next door today. Zelda grabs the hammer out of the back, Saha's closet. That is going to be a save and quit. And we'll probably see. Ooh, we have to go back up the mountain here.
Interesting. Okay, there are a lot of items up here. So a little bit of an unusual first trip, especially since he already did Hera. But could very well be quite a lot over there.
Definitely at the same time, too, it could potentially be the last time Zelda goes up there if there's nothing in Turtle Rock. Aside, of course, from even getting Ganon's Tower. Could just knock out the rest of Death Mountain for him right away.
Yeah, there are 6 items in Dark Death Mountain, plus whatever's on Floating Island he won't be able to get without mitts. But that could also be nothing.
Definitely playing the item density here. Floating Island looking to be 5 rupees today.
Well, that's one item you won't have to worry about coming back for.
Marking checks off the list early on. Part of the name of the game here. It's after a walk through Spiral Cave, Zelda gets just a pack of 3 bombs.
That's just kind of a preview. The real payoff is over here in Paradox, typically.
How big of a payoff will it be, though, if it is anything? A couple pieces of heart so far.
That's not a great start.
I think you might have just cursed it. Okay, here's a Quake medallion. And a Bombos. And then our first shield.
Reasonable chance that that's our key for Misery Mire, but we're a long way away from Misery Mire.
Probably a good chance that one of those will give us access to Turtle Rock as well, the way the items have been falling so far. But we have yet to find out. Zelda saving quits and is going over towards Hype Cave. Just like that, we have Gem on into blind. 3 phases, 3 hits per phase. Doesn't matter what sword you use, what weapon you use. It all takes the same amount of swing. And beautifully keeping the blind fight on script. Not even deviating for a moment. That is crystal number 1 for Gem at 25 minutes and 40 seconds.
And other than the crystal, not very much in there of interest, but you have to do it anyway. There's not a huge difference if you go mode it. You basically just skip the big chest.
Looks like with Titan's Mitts, Mirror, and Hammer in hand, get a Smith Chain check here on Gem's side. No World Tour today for Jeremiah, unfortunately.
That's a lot of work for 20 rupees.
Definitely not worth the hourly wage. Who do we talk to about minimum wage here in Hyrule today? Come on. Today we have a Dwarven Mint making some potentially counterfeit money. 20 rupees just for turning Jeremiah on home.
You only profit by 10 because it costs you 10 to do that item check.
And a vanilla net over there on Zelga's side. Get it from the sick kid for showing him the bottle. Definitely interesting routing Gem's doing here with the chest. Probably gonna be one of the first times I've seen this as well. Head up towards Skull Woods and do a few checks with it.
It is the green pennant. Well, there's a cane, but it's the wrong color for the one we need.
And Zelda picking up their Titan's Mitts. Giving access to most everything else over here on this side of the world.
I have to be honest, this is knowledge of the game I don't have. Can you just finish a dungeon with the chest and pick it up and keep going?
I would imagine it would still be sitting out there. Kind of interesting.
Now, there's the second item, but this is the green pendant, so Jim might choose to complete it.
See Jim's grabbing that key and heading towards the back. You're banking on something being on that green pendant for a return trip back towards Eastern Palace, and I'd get one more item of that little loot.
I have to admit, I'm a little surprised to see Jim going for the green pendant this early.
It's definitely an interesting play, but given you'd have to go over there in that area towards Eastern Palace anyways for 2 crystals, I can definitely see where it makes a little bit of sense. The last thing you'd want to do would be get burned by an item sitting on it. So. Either way, Gem does make quick work of Mothula grabbing that green pendant. Comes on out. I imagine we should see our chest when he gets right back out of the back here.
And there's the chest waiting for us.
So I guess that's something new to add to your bag of tricks there. Well, Zelda's making the Thieves Town play. Hunt for that crystal. Jim giving us a look at Bumper Cave Ledge. Just a piece of heart.
Okay, now we're really taking this chest everywhere, grabbing the old man. I think this gets rid of it. I didn't think you could have multiple followers, but I don't know.
It all depends if the chest is still considered a follower after you drop it off in the light world. I know part of it is in the dark world because we have that nice recently found chest bug where you can kind of drop it off and mirror next to the man to unlock it. And it still acts as if you have it.
Jim would apparently very much like to mirror.
Apparently.
Well, I'm quite certain the chest is gone now, so I'm not going to be concerned with it.
Probably not at this point. As Gem's overworld serenading ends, we jump into Tower of Hair.
Both of them are covering each other's first crystal.
bit of overlap, but we'll be pretty much back to even here very shortly. Of course, it looks like we do have our small key locking itself inside the big chest today, I believe.
Yes, I believe that was the case from earlier.
Some seeds that might matter because it means the the dungeon's hammer locked. Not today, since we already do have that hammer as our access to the dark. Let's see here. Zelda can keep blind on script. So far, so good through 2 phases. And through 3, another wonderfully executed blind fight on Zelga's side there. That will be crystal number 2.
And there's crystal 2 gem. So got us doing front or back to front Skull Woods, looks like.
I was wondering here if we could be seeing Zelda go straight to the back and knock out Mothula trying to get that green pendant. Hopefully there's an item there too. Jim, meanwhile, will be taking the full mountain kit minus the hook shot over. Maybe Hammer and Titansmith should be able to get most of the checks out of the way. Save.
Oh, I think Zelda's got the statue stuck. This can happen if you leave it at the exact wrong position. And he has to mirror to reset the room.
And of course, now those Gibtos don't want to play nice either. Take 2 and we get it. Looks like Zelda grabs that mirror and I'll be heading on to the back for a little date with Mothula here.
So we're about to get some new information on Jim's side.
It'll definitely be interesting to see here what the medallion on top of Turtle Rock is. Regardless if it's one that we do already have, we still are missing the proper cane to really make it anywhere but opening up the rock.
Nobody really wants to dive Pendant TR anyway.
Ooh, Zelda was down to 1 heart and just got the final hit on Mothula right before that spike hit him. That was definitely close.
Not sure what Jim was doing a moment ago, but there's Red Meringue and Art Container. Those are the items that you can currently get that Zelda could not on his last trip. Nothing in Hookshot Cave is accessible without boots or hookshot. And it looks like we're going to get a spike cave check from Gem.
But I almost imagine that's what Jim was doing earlier, heading right on over to Spike Cave and like, wait a minute, got a few more things I can check over here while I'm up here. Quick beeline back to Super Bunny for those items.
Yeah, it turned out it would have been fine to forget them.
Yeah, the Angel, it's something if you forget it, it's nothing if you choose to go grab it. But
Oh, well, there's our last medallion. So only a slight chance that matters, but if it matters, it's going to matter a lot.
Mountain of Medallions today. That could definitely be big if that ends up being our access into Misery Mire. But of course, before we even think about that, we do need that flute. So grabbing their blue cane, the last item of Skull Woods. Promptly mirroring out, continuing on. Gem looks like might be heading over towards the Pod Eastern Palace area at this point. Scratch out, we're going to the pyramid first. Still can't forget, however, that our runners don't have a bow. So while they might be able to get into Eastern Palace or Pod, they won't be able to finish the dungeon.
Oh, but there's our flute on Pyramid Ledge.
Okay, walk back what I said a little bit earlier. We have our flute now. So we can go and check what Misery Mire potentially could be.
Yeah, but we can't get in, so there's, there's the there's the checks right there, so it still might be worthwhile. That is actually desert access. But to do much of anything in Mire, we're going to need either hookshot or boots.
Now, of course, with that flute, Gem is going to promptly go activate it.
And Zelgadis picked up flippers out of Graveyard Ledge. That's kind of interesting. Swamp is a pendant. Everything else in the game but Swamp can be fake flippered. So, probably not required, but if they are required, that's going to be a very isolated location for Gem.
Catfish given our red mail today.
I did not see it there.
Zelda is going to immediately take those flippers off into a trip down into Ice Palace. Gem apparently still wants to mirror.
Yeah, there's a real chance Ice is at least logically locked behind Hookshot or Cane. I believe that key being in the first chest means it is probably not hookshot locked, but I don't really know the logic that well. Small key on Torch, so logically boots locked, and unless the big key is in this chest, it is actually boots locked.
Survey says we are hard boots locked. So aside from checkerboard, that will be the end of the checks over here for us today.
So I'll go with a smooth bomb jump. Had to do a little last second adjusting, but got it. And here's our first Agina check, 45 minutes in for your Spear 1 locations. Yep, Fire Shield.
Just went back and verified it does look like Misery Meyer is Bombos today.
Okay, so Zelgada's not going to need to do Spike Cave. Ether is just useless for the seed today.
Up Vanilla Net, Gem will be fake flippering right on over towards Ice Palette. Get a little bit of a high five here in the dungeon by the runners.
Yeah, as I mentioned, unless we need to go into Swamp, those flippers are really kind of optional today.
Beautifully executed bomb strats in the first pen gator room there by Gem. Of course, no hookshot means we need to drop down to
Well, there we go.
Ella. And those are hiding our boots for us today. So we can now go fast. Probably more importantly, clear out Desert Palace.
Yeah, though Zelgadis can't get there yet. Doesn't have the flute. Oh, that was a cold stare fight.
Another example of excellent execution on Zelga's side. Keeping cold stare pin in that corner pretty much perfectly. That's crystal number 3.
So Zelgadis needs to get over to Pyramid Ledge at some point for that flute, but I'm guessing we'll do at least the beginning boot checks now, the King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks.
That looks like to be just exactly where Zelda's heading. Let's see if we have any pay dirt here in these checks today. Of course, the first one just being a full heart for us.
See if he also goes to do Magic Bat at some point here.
Those boot checks coming up, nothing.
Here's the other boot check. So get your AGA 1 hype ready if you're interested in watching 3 minutes that goes the same way every time.
And for today's survey says it's just 20 rupees. So with that, we officially do not need to make the climb for AGA 1 today.
Jim just about to grab the boots.
So those boots, Jim will be heading down towards Cold Stairs West. Zelda looks to be heading up towards the pyramid, grabbing that flute shortly as well.
Yeah, we'll see if he sticks for anything or immediately heads over to do the Meyer area checks as well.
Bombo strats on Gem's side to knock out that shell off of Cold Stair. A few dashes and perfect right. And more excellent execution on Gem's side yet again. That is crystal number 3, and both these runners putting on quite the show execution-wise here. Vancilla deletion there for Gem.
Timing on the ice rod one is pretty tight. That was well done. Gonna get his big 20 off the hobo. Probably gonna be a lot less excited to see it than Zelgadis was about, 40 minutes ago.
That'll be a safe and quit on Gem's side. Looks like Gem will be taking those boots over to these checks over here as well. A bit of an overlap, the only difference being Zelda over here in Desert has those boots. Actually traverse the dungeon in full.
Yeah, there's one item we haven't seen yet in here. Did already get a heart piece out of here, I believe it was, from the one chest we could access.
Now, another interesting thing to potentially keep in mind here, this routing could potentially isolate those flippers for Jim. So if there's something hiding out in the swamp, it might not be ideal over there. However, of course, if there's nothing in the swamp, flippers, of course, are fairly optional.
So I'm just leaving the big chest behind for now, waiting to see if Landmo has the item.
So as the hunt for a bow and our red cane continues, Zelda will be our first runner into Landmall.
There's the red cane, so he can go straight into Mire.
Speaking of... And meanwhile, that is crystal number 4 on Zelga's side. Maybe the way this is going, if I think or say bow hard enough, they'll probably find it here sitting in mine.
If they find the bow in Mire, we're going to see a heck of a race the rest of the way.
Definitely. Both these runners are still very close this far into the match. It's even hard to say if one really has too much of an advantage over the other at this point. And Gem with a beautifully executed one cycle as well. That is their red cane and their 4th crystal.
Now, I am kind of making the assumption that both of these runners can bypass Moldorm 2 one way or the other, which is to say either through hovering or through the Moldorm bounce, and thus that the hook shot may not be necessary. I do not know that for certain.
Yeah, but I'm with you there too in that same boat. Make that assumption. Not 100% sure it is here. Well, check number 1 in Myers, just a piece of heart. We got one more item hiding out in here. This Jim gives us some roast quail, hops into Misery Mire. I believe that's about a 50-second to 1 minute difference here between the two runners. Which nearly an hour into the match, all have the same dungeons completed. That is just outstanding. Zelda picking up that map, not opting to go to the cutscene chest, but checking out the other chest before even taking that trek up there. Which makes sense with one item left over.
And just 50 rupees in here, so that's all the items for Meyer.
The bow you are looking for is in another castle. Which, knowing what we know, that there's nothing over here. Unfortunate for Gem going up the route of the cutscene chat. 18 to 20 seconds, give or take, of lighting torches, and then for some reason off screen a room is moving that you can't see or really understand. Not really explained too well in the initial vanilla game.
And Zelgadis using the spooky action glitch to flip the switch by hitting other sprites with the fire rod. Quickly powdering a fairy there.
Loading up those hearts for some spin strats here. Take the one frame of iframe damage by jumping in the green goo there, the darker green. Have some iframes for the spins. And then, of course, pin the big eyeball in the corner. Beautifully executed by Zelda. Putting on a show execution-wise here. Definitely a treat. That is crystal number 5. And the hunt for a bow continues. We're pretty much left with the Pod Eastern Palace area of crystal-wise. Unless, of course, you want to make that trek up the mountain towards Turtle Rock.
We're into swamp without the hook shot. None of those really appeal. I suspect we'll see Zelgadis head to Eastern Pod. Might fleet to... Well, okay, I'm wrong. Is this Spike Cave, or is he actually doing TR?
Not yet to see. Either way, we're going up the mountain. Interesting to see what we're banking on here. Gem swinging and missing on the first shot for the spooky action. Getting it on the second one. And getting the torch spooky as well.
Oh, right. Zelgadis hasn't done any of Dark Death Mountain, so this is 3 items at least.
Dark Death Mountain, and I would imagine being in this area, you do a little bit of Turlock. Not quite sure though how or what Zelda would think thinking. Gem giving us some dash and spin strats. And another beautifully executed boss fight. Crystal number 5 over on Gem side, and this is we're definitely seeing a treat here today on the execution side by both of these runners.
Yeah, in particular, I think I could watch Gem do boss fights all day, except none of them really take very long.
You'd have to put those on repeat for quite a while. And here's our answer. Zelda making that dip into Pendant TR. Meanwhile, some more new info on Gem's side. I don't believe we saw Zelda turn this powder in. So this is new information over here as well.
Yeah, this is gonna really come... Now, there are 2 locations where the bow is because of the progressive bow. So it's possible they find them in different spots at the same time. Not at Magic Bat, though.
So it took us about an hour and 5 minutes, but we are finally getting some big divergence here for the first time in the sea.
Well, they did the first and second crystals in different orders. They just kind of reconverged. And Zelgadis finds it early in Turtle Rock.
There it is. That could potentially, all things notwithstanding, based on the hook shot stuff here, hour and 4 minutes, we got a potential go mode on Zelda's side. Of course, I will stress potential because I'm not quite sure where Zelda is as far as hovering goes. Now, that being said, too, Zelda did find one boat up the mountain in Turtle Rock. That's not saying that the other one couldn't be hiding over here in the eastern pod area. Locked behind a green pendant, though, just turning out to be some bombs, so that won't be the answer. Okay, so Gem will be entering pod just a little bit behind Zelda, but without that boat, I'll be banking on one hiding somewhere here. That's an item in that first chest.
Yeah, so it's at least logically bow locked. We'll see. And you'll need a bow to finish the dungeon as a whole. We'll see what Jim does. Gonna exit. I believe it's a fairy in the bottle, not a potion for Gem.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. If I recall, it is a fairy that was in that bottle sitting atop a spectral rock. So at the very least, that could be pointing gems somewhere else, but then again, if the second bow is hiding in the back of pod, that could definitely spell disaster here at this point.
Yeah, I have to admit, while I don't know that Zelgadis can have her do the Mulder and bounce, he's certainly playing like he can. This is straight to Helmasaur after that big key.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Got his big key going right to the back. Playing this like it is definitely go mode. Meanwhile, Gem continues the hunt for that second bow. Still on the lookout, one more check here that Gem can do before he either go to a different location or get a little bit of potion in that bottle. That being said, Zelda onto Helmasaur. 17 hits with the hammer to knock that face mask off. A few swings of our sword. Down goes the mask. And down goes Helmasaur. That is crystal number 6.
Meanwhile, Jim just finds Mirror Shield in the Eastern, and it does look to be heading up the mountain now as well, but going to be well behind at this point.
Yep, this is where Gem does need to go, but unfortunately, Zelda now having the crystal advantage, a portal right outside of Pod here to go to Eastern, or I should say be able to use the mirror to go right to Eastern. Make quick work to grab crystal number 7. This could be potentially insurmountable. At the very least, though, the bow isn't too far in Turtle Rock. About an hour 10, Gem will be not entering Turtle Rock quite yet.
Yeah, it has that one chest and hook shot that's accessible with boots.
Definitely makes sense now I think about it to go check that chest.
It looks like also gonna do a hover for the rest of it.
Well, that answers the hookshot question on Gem's side. Meanwhile, Zelda working to the back of Eastern Palace here. Everyone trying to send their mental waves to Gem just to go to Turtle Rock. Go to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to go to Turtle Rock after trying the hover a few times. Let's get one of the chests.
Meanwhile, over on Zelga's side, quick work of Armos Knights. That's crystal number 7. I believe you know what that means. We have ourselves time for a big key guessing game. A few different locations in Ganon's Tower. That big key can go ahead and get your guesses in chat, because once Zelda does enter Ganon's Tower, we will be ending the game. You have any specific location or idea in mind where that might be today, Mercer?
Let's put it on the left side somewhere in Rando Rune just to see some extra bomb jumps today.
Definitely like how you're thinking. Rando Room usually puts it in my general guess number of 14. Just kind of feeling with you on that one. And there you got a 1 hour, 13 minutes. Gem grabs that bow. We got another, in quotation marks, go mode for Gem, depending on how hard they want to go for that hover. But I do imagine Gem will be playing the rest of this like it is, in fact, go mode.
Yeah, definitely much faster than the success rate we saw in Hookshot Cave to hover that, then look for the hookshot, which could be in Swamp or something awful.
Alright, get your last bit of guesses in chat, because once Zelda does enter Ganon's tower, they're closing for the day. Looks like we'll be starting off over on the right-hand side.
Yeah, the left involves some bomb jumps without the hook shot, so a little slower than normal.
Two checks out of the way, skipping right on past tile group. While Gem and Pod looking for that big key. Small key, correction, and is heading straight onto the back. Number 3 is 5 rupees, 4 is 20 rupees, 5 is 300 rupees, and 6 is another 300 rupees. Room of the Rupee.
And we're gonna see Zelgada's head down towards Ice Armos this way, which is the seldom seen pathway in Rando.
Seldom seen, but definitely makes a little bit of sense here, given no hookshot quite. Avoid those bomb jumps and hovers as much as we possibly can. Well, it seems like Gem might be far behind. Don't forget that all Gem needs to do once Helmasaur is down is go straight to the back of Eastern Palace and take out Armos Knight. Still could be quite a close race. Chest number 7 having a piece of heart. Zelda drops down into Ice Armos while Gem is over on Helmasaur King. Quick work there as well. Down goes Helmasaur King. Crystal number 6 over on Gem's side. And Zelda saving some arrows, opting for some sword strats here. 8 butter sword, 9 small key, 10 is the compass.
Yeah, we can find where Aga 2 is now.
$11 is 20 rupees sitting on top of that torch. And now the fun begins. So that's another thing to keep in mind there. Gem could potentially make up some time with going straight left once we get into Ganon's Tower. Let's just go straight to the back here and take out Armos Knights, making their way right up the mountain. 12, a piece of heart, 13, key, 14, 15 rupees, 15, our second bottle. We continue on.
I believe technically this next chest can actually have the hook shot since you can just bonk to it. But this is the last place in GT where it could be.
Survey says not today. Chest number 16 also not holding the big key. Could we potentially see a tile room?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about tile room.
Hookshot could be there as well. Still maintaining those arrows, wanting to save as much as possible for that climb.
You definitely need 4, and then you have to hope for not despawning. I certainly understand saving 8.
17, a single rupee. We're in the Rando room as Gem takes down Armos Knight's crystal number 7. We'll be climbing the mountain here to head up on into Ganon's tower. So we're on number 18 on Zelga's side is 10 arrows. 19 is the big key.
Yeah, you don't hate seeing those 10 arrows.
Looks like the winner of the game today, R.D. Walsh, earning a big ol' 50 points on the leaderboard. Orphanox, Jerry, Senator, and Hayo Kontan also looks like they earned themselves 5 bonus points by guessing number 19. Jim heading up the Mimic rooms. And Zelda, excuse me, as Jim's making their climb towards the tower. Up on into the gauntlet. Assortment of rooms with some treadmills, spikes, ice, BMOS. So I just gotta be careful. Down to 2 hearts here.
Yeah, there does still have that fairy, I believe.
Quick little menu check does have it there.
You're going to be able to power to the anti-fairy here as well, if he wants to.
And is made it through those last couple of rooms safely. While Gem is into Ganon's tower, starting over on the right side. We'll continue on as Zelda takes out Lanmo 2. On to a few of the most satisfying rooms in Randomizer. Drop down a couple blocks. Splash damage to take out a slew of Wizrobes.
Yeah, I'm expecting we'll see the same routing from Gem to also head to Ice Armos, but we'll see if he mirrors out after Compass Room.
Just pulling that mirror out. Key, heart, and mirror. Gem is now on the right track, heading to the left.
So yeah, they're going to save a little time, relatively speaking. What he's going to need, though, is for Zelgados to have trouble with the Moldorm 2 bounce, I'm afraid.
Definitely not out of reach for Gem yet. Looks like Zelda is going for that bounce. This might be it. Explosion on the brow, not quite.
And I'm gonna have to reset and try again.
That Moldorm bounce, take 2. Meanwhile, Gem just a few rooms away from that big key. Of course, if you're wondering how you can kind of set this up, Because, you know, you're thinking Moldorm looks a little bit random. While its pattern is random, there is kind of a little bit of ways you can manipulate and get him in the proper location for this bounce.
Yeah, but don't ask me about any of them. I am just going to watch him do this because I don't have any good information to give people on it.
It's something to do with, I think, 2 short little bounces there, and then Moldorm will look towards Link or your sprite and do 1 long one. Just right there. So 2 little short ones, look towards you and do a long one. Gem into the rando room. Zelda not quite yet getting that Moldorm bounce. We're on to try number 3 as Gem picks up the big key. This could be a gap closer here.
Yeah, so I got us down to 4 bombs, so that's going to be the main limiting factor here.
Moldorm just looking at Zelgadis right there and saying, yeah, no, not this time, try again. Three hearts as well. Does have that fairy, however. So making quick work of the 2 mimic rooms. Heading up the tower here.
Yeah, I mean, Zelgadis can always just powder an anti-fairy, which he's going to do here. Even has the bug net if he wants to catch it on, if one gets used. It's really the bombs that are the limiting thing here.
Definitely, you can tell Zelgadis is being a little, I'd say, more conservative. Might be the word I'm looking for on the placement and usage of the bombs at this point. Just trying to get that right pattern by Moldorm. Not quite there either. Try again. Gem into the gauntlet.
Yeah, making up some ground here. Hovering is going to be quicker than this, although, you know, it's not a guarantee for Gem either, as we saw earlier. So could come down to this, whoever executes this trick better.
Gem continues on. Zelda might be close this time. Get the spin. Oof, wrong direction. Down to 2 bombs now as Gem is definitely making up some time onto the second Wizaro brew. Just about a few rooms behind at this point.
Yeah, I think if Zelgadis doesn't get this try, then Gem's going to be right there.
Brown. Got it.
There it is, but Gem is not far behind.
It definitely allowed Gem to make up some time, just a couple rooms behind at this point. Definitely going to come down to some Ega 2 execution, as well as how well we can do Silverless on Gam. So Gem on into their egonometry test here. One of the first one.
Zelda gets 1 there. Let's see. Good setup for at least a double. Would have been a triple, but Aghanim threw a blue ball instead. I think that only counted as a double because the first 2 hits were too close together. And there it is.
Over on Gem's side. Gets the hover first try. Literally just a room behind now. Gem has definitely closed the gap quite a bit here.
But not going to be enough unless Zelgadis has a very bad Ganon.
Hit the double. Zelda entering in at 129.10. Gem takes down Egg at 2. Another thing to kind of keep in mind is Zelda does have Buttered Sword compared to Gem's Tempered Sword. Oof.
And we'll find out if Zelda has that fairy. Does now has to be careful. Other bottle is a green potion that got picked up within GT.
Still safe. On to phase 3.
Gem going to be dropping down into the fight. Given what we've seen from Gem on bosses, I would expect a 1-in-1 here with Tempered.
Yep, and Gem is only 50 seconds behind at this point. Beautifully executing the spin off the Trident there and getting some good positioning down here to get some double hits with spins as well.
Yeah, that was one on phase 1, so as long as he gets this in one cycle, then Butter saves no time on this fight. Yeah.
Gem's already on to phase 3. Ganon, meanwhile, telling us the silvers were in Swamp Palace.
We were not getting those today. I'm more interested in Ganon telling us where the hookshot was, but we're not going to find that one out either.
Gem enters phase 4. Gets the torch glitch. Well, Zelda's probably a few hits away here. And there it is. We have a 1x3 bridge, all separating Zelda from actually taking this entire matchup and moving on to the round of 16. And there it is. Get your GGs in chat.
Zelgadissan finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, 24 seconds. Thanks for playing, Zelda.
GGs, meanwhile, Gem not too far behind here. I believe my count is correct. Gem's only a few spins away as well. And yes, indeedy, there is Gem's Ganon kill. Just has a 1x3 bridge separating them from the Triforce.
And Gem finishes in second place with a time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 7 seconds. So a gap of 43 seconds.
So Gem did close up a little bit of time on that Ganon fight. Unfortunately, it was not enough. Get your GGs in chat for both of these runners. Definitely a well-executed match today and very close right down to the end here.
And we are joined now by today's winner, zelgadissan. Good game.
Hey, GG's, thank you. Oh man, what what a clown show to watch the end of this. Back on the restream, joining in and just in time to see failure after failure. But man, I'm just glad we pulled it out at the end.
You were both running out of time, and that Gem was fast on your heels there, and you're about out of bombs, but you clutched it out there with, your next to last bomb. I'm assuming you practiced that quite a lot. It seems like a very difficult trick as somebody who does not know it at all.
I have practiced it a lot. It may not have shown, but yeah, typically in practice I can get it maybe like 30-40% of the time, maybe even a little bit higher. This time I don't know if it was the nerves coming in or Moldorm wasn't playing quite as nice. Like the first time I thought I had the setup perfect, and then I accidentally hit the tail with the spin as well as the head, so I guess it counted as a kill. But yeah, I've definitely practiced it. It's a lot of fun. It looks awesome, but it's clearly not as consistent as hovering if you can do it well.
And that did end up making quite a bit of time there too for Jem at the end. Just pulled out the hover, was able to essentially get that on their first try. There are a few different Moldorm bounces, but you still did have the edge of about 50 seconds to a minute entering Ganon, as well as that buttered sword. So that was pretty much just enough for you at that point to pull it out.
Yeah, other than that, though, I think the play of the game was really going straight to Turtle Rock towards the end there when you were leaving, the Myron Desert area. What led you to make that choice before checking out Eastern area?
So I'd had that green pendant forever, and I was on my way to Eastern and Pod whenever I got the flute from the pyramid. But then it was like, well, I've got a crystal I can do now, so let's head over there. You get Samaria from the boss of Desert. And at that point, we've had the fire and ice rod since the very beginning of the game. It just felt like I need to get to Turtle Rock as soon as I can. So that's just what I did. And I kind of hoping that maybe I could have some sort of time made up by never touching Pod and Eastern. And it sounds like that's what happened in talking to Jem a little bit in IRC.
Yeah, I would say so. Your routes were pretty similar to that point. You did the first crystals out of order. He didn't go up to the mountain until after already getting gloves and doing Thieves Town. But, that aside, it was pretty close at that point. And then Jem did go over to the eastern area while you were going up the mountain. And I think that was probably the biggest time difference other than the Moldorm 2 stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, that just kind of seems like there's a lot of the seed, but it seemed almost kind of straightforward until obviously I have no idea where this hook shot was. I think it could have been in Tile Room with the key logic. That's the only other way in GT, I think, but I have no idea where that stupid thing was.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is somewhere deeper in Turtle Rock or somewhere in the front of Swamp, but it could have been in Tile Room.
It's interesting when I saw Ganon said that there was a bow in Swamp, because I kind of wanted to take those flippers to Swamp, and I almost did it before I decided to go to the pyramid for the getting over towards Pod and Eastern. But I was like, well, Pod and Eastern is going to be a lot more stable play than going into hook shot pendant Swamp. So I wonder where that bow was in there too. But honestly, it's probably for the best, because I would have ended up full clearing Pod and Eastern looking for the bow at that, or looking for Samaria at that point. Okay,
yeah. But so with this win, you're moving on to the round of 16. I can pull up challenge and see if you've got an opponent yet. But any other thoughts on this match, either game one or this one?
Not really. I feel like I've already kind of punched above my weight here. I feel like Jem is one of the best runners in the whole community. So honestly, my goal, like realistic goal when I looked at brackets, was just get a game in this series. So the fact that I'm moving on from it is ridiculous. So GG's to Jem for sure. Hopefully I'll catch him again some other tournament or just random races. Love playing against him. I think I'm going against Illis or Pika Pals. I think they still haven't played any races yet, but both of those are going to be tough opponents too. So no matter who comes out of there, I've still got a really rough road ahead.
That is correct, and it does look like they have not yet played any of the games in their match. Well, I'll look forward to seeing that one for certain.
And we were saying earlier on, too, kind of before the start of the race, at this point, with the runners that are left, you can pretty much throw the seeding out the window, because there's quite a good handful of any of you guys pretty much left in at this point that has an equal chance of winning this thing. So it's, and that definitely did show today. Both of you had amazing execution. Things just ended up working out a little bit better for you today. That ended up pushing you on here to the round of 16. Great job tonight.
Thanks, and I do definitely want to say thank you to you guys on the commentary, the tracking, the restreaming. I really appreciate being able to be part of these tournaments and be able to like have a kind of a community get together and watch or perform in these. I really enjoy it, so thank you very much.
Yeah, and shout outs to our tracker today, Isin Yi. I think that's how that's pronounced. I'm sorry. Also give my co-com Spyweaver and our runners Zelgadissan and Jim follows.
Yep, huge shout outs to everyone. Tracker behind the scenes, keeping us on track, doing all the heavy work, heavy lifting, making sure we know what we're talking about, keeping us in line. And once again, huge shout outs as well to my co-com Mercer. Always a pleasure sitting up here talking about these amazing runs and matchups with you. And of course, without saying, be sure to give both of our runners, both Jem and Zelgadissan that follow today, put on quite a wonderful, wonderful show. It was definitely a treat seeing that execution throughout the seed by both of you guys. It was definitely a sight to behold.
Meanwhile, if you're interested in more racing action, there won't be a Game 3 of this series since Zelgadis closed it out. But Game 3 between Azazaz and Zyrak is over on Speed Gaming 3. And then later today at 5:20 Eastern, Relkin versus Banta Game 2. Both of those should be pretty great. But keep an eye on Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6, as well as ALTTP Randomizer and that 2 through 5 for more tournament action as we get towards the finals of these brackets. But that's all I have tonight. Spy, any last words?
Just like I've been saying this whole time, at this point, anybody pretty much left in this tournament has an equal chance of winning it. We're pretty much at the round of 32, working towards the round of 16 out of nearly 300 runners. You can essentially throw the seeding out the window. Today we saw an excellent execution matchup between both of these guys. It's definitely a treat to watch. It's definitely going to even just get better as we go on. So be sure to keep your eyes on that schedule and watch as we get closer and closer to these final rounds of our tournament. Other than that, I believe that is all for us. Thank you all for tuning in today. Be sure to pop on over towards the Speed Gaming 3 channel where we do have another matchup currently going on. And for us, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you all next time.